What's crack-a-lacking? What's going on? What's happening? Live in the building. We got to get the intro jumping off real quick, but I'm going to say what's going on to everybody. Shannon, oh, there you go. There go the background check. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we got to let you guys know. You got to bear with us for a second. We got a couple of things going on. It's PYB week, PYB show. What's going on? All the people in the live chat, what's going on, Shannon? Our boy Tate, man, is dealing with something right now, but he's a trooper. He's trying to help us out behind the scenes, but we're going to get this show popping and started. I got to kick it off and say what's going on with my boy Shannon, man. Triple OG, triple OG. What's going on, Shannon?
Yeah, we're always the three amigos, and tonight we're the dynamic duo, but hopefully our brother Tate will get feeling better, and we'll, he'll be back next week. But we got the combine starting tomorrow, and I'm excited to talk about it.
Hey, look, Booby said that we put Tate in the trunk. No, man, Tate, no, it's just, I ain't at liberty to disclose, but trust, he's going to be okay. He's going to be feeling better.
Oh,
but believe me, right now, he's Booby, he put you in the matrix, dog, right off the back. He's behind the scenes directing traffic, but he got us, bro. But tonight it's just me and Shannon front facing, doing what we do on PYB, man. Listen, y'all, we got a big time show coming up with you guys. Big time talk. Not only do we're going to talk about the combine, we're going to talk about what the ratings was for the Pittsburgh Steelers concerning all 32 teams and where they're at. We're going to talk about these hot trade rumors that's out there. And we're going to talk about some of the player interviews that's already happened. And we'll probably get a little bit to the little wish list that a lot of Steelers fans is happening. But right now, it's really the big talk is it pessimistic or optimistic viewpoint concerning the Pittsburgh Steelers going into next season? That's what our show title is, and that's what we're going to talk about today, Shannon. What you thinking about all of that, bro?
Oh, I think it's going to be a very interesting discussion. Since the Steelers have decided to roll it back, as is with the coaching staff, something that I know a lot of us wasn't too happy about. I'm happy to trust, as I have for years now. I've said they rebuild, they reload, they don't rebuild. I've tried to take a company stance because of my faith in the Steelers, but I found that there's a big difference in the Steelers that I grew up with and I've loved and what's happened recently, which we will get into that later tonight. But I got to trust that they believe if they add talent to this roster that they can be, a contender again. So we're going to discuss tonight how they can make that happen.
Absolutely, y'all. Listen, you know how we kick off every show. We say what's cracking to the people over in the live chat, man. What's up, Rob Lightfoot? Tim Lyons, our boy Booby, man. Big Marv 34, Andre Green, the Matrix General himself, Claude Bishop. What's crack-a-lacking, man? Man, Claude, don't start none tonight, man, because I might not have accessibility to that Matrix, but if Tate sticks around, you sure going in there, bro, so don't start none. Big punishment, man. What's coming on? Claude, you see already, he gave you one for a precursor, bro, so don't start none, but we know, because you're going to be over there in the Matrix. Big punishment. What's cracking, man? Punishment. They'll come over from Steelers Almighty. He's going to come over here and rap with us a little taste or two. Punishment. Don't be on that bottle tonight, dog. Don't be on that bottle tonight.
No Diddy. You got to chill.
I don't know who got the no Diddy, but Tate already. It's probably me for running my mouth, man. Craig Withrow, man. What's going on? Jaime Carlo, Eric Parker, George T, Andre Green. Tate can't even talk, man. Ruben Stone, Jared Devil.
Taste a little bit. We're going to taste a little bit. No Diddy.
Taste a little bit. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's no Diddy. He got me, man. Johnny J. Hey, Johnny, what's up? That's sort of a new person to the thing, man. We appreciate it. Says Phils is an enigma. Yeah, I'm feeling you, man. I know. Ruben Stone, Kathy, Afton, Man, we got a lot of people in here, man. We're up to about 45 on a Wednesday. Danny Littlejohn, what's going on? And listen, we're trying to make sure we get to 100. We got a super chat already from the champion, general, governor, leader of the hierarchy of the Matrix, Mr. Claude Bishop, for the $5. Trading for a $37 million quarterback by switching picks and giving up a second is the most ridiculous thing that I've ever heard. Claude, we're going to talk about that because some folks are saying I'm with it, and this might be playing me, but we definitely going to get to it. But the Steelers got to do what they got to do because the number one priority is that dang on quarterback, man. All right, so Shannon, you got anything we got to say before we jump to the intro and get this thing pumping, man?
Nope, I'm just ready to get started.
All right, man, let's rock and roll. Y'all, we live with PYB. Let's get the intro, and we'll see you on the back half. We're going to take a break, pay some bills, and we'll see you on the back half of the intro.
Let's go.
Man, I love our new intro. As you can see, the faceplate of the show tonight for the Pump Your Brakes podcast. We are officially, ladies and gentlemen, on the clock. It's T-minus 24 hours to the combine kickoff, man. And there's a lot of folks that's pessimistic, a lot of folks that's optimistic. Mr. Omar Khan and Mr. Mike Tomlin have been to the microphone. We're going to talk a lot about that tonight on the show concerning the combine, what we're looking for. We're going to talk about some sleepers, even guys you might think that the Steelers won't go for. But we're going to kick this thing off talking about what Claude said, the ridiculous trade that's out there concerning the Pittsburgh Steelers trading the Los Angeles Rams for Matt Stafford. We've heard compensation as crazy as giving up a first and a second. But now we're starting to hear that if the trade is real, it's going to be pick switches in the first round, and the Steelers will get the Rams pick. The Rams will get the Steelers pick. They'll get Stafford, and then we'll give an additional third-round pick in this year's draft to the Los Angeles Rams for Matt Stafford. Shannon, what you thinking about that, bro? What is you thinking?
Well, now I heard also that it would be a second-round pick next year.
Facts. Add that as well.
Starts more than 65% of the snaps or whatever. Mm-hmm. But that if he did, that he could become a first-round pick. See, to me, that's too steep a price.
Mm-hmm.
My concern is I love Stafford. I still think he has juice in the tank.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I don't know how fast they can improve this talent around him to give him a team capable that he could lead deep into the playoffs. So, again, it will depend. I know they got the money. How willing are they to spend this money? And how does the draft fall? If everything went right, we'd see teams turn it around quickly.
Facts. That's facts.
But my main concern is the Steelers brass, and that includes ownership and the coaching, are they up to this challenge to have that rapid a turnaround?
Shannon, the deal is this, and I'm just going to be blunt about it. Based on what I listened to Omar Khan has said over the last 2 days, I think this is a reality. Whether or not it happens, I think it's a reality. Because I've heard him say over and over and over again, our number one priority is solidifying the quarterback position. I've also heard him say that they would like to have Justin back and they wouldn't mind having Russie back. But I've heard him say that we have to leave every option available in order to solidify the quarterback position. So the deal is, for a lot of the Steelers fans that's been complaining chronically, listen, what are we going to do if Justin says he wants to go to somewhere else? You're willing, Shannon, are you willing to take Danny Dimes? Are you willing to take Aaron Rodgers?
No.
So, that's the alternatives we're talking about here.
Yeah.
So comparatively speaking, We know Matt Stafford can throw the ball. We know he's 37 years old, but we also know he's due $50 million that they can switch that money around and put it somewhere close to the $35 million mark, which we have, like you said, the bread, because if the Steelers just make a couple of little moves here or there, we're going to exceed $90 million. So, Shannon, I want to get your idea or thought for what is plan B if we don't get Justin.
Well, it's coming down to you're either getting re-signing Justin Fields, you're trading for Matt Stafford, you're trading for maybe a Geno Smith if he becomes available. But that option really is, or the Stafford option is a short-term option. And then you're going to have to try to find your future as somebody that can be developed, whether it's through a trade. I mean, it makes sense to try to get
Shannon is froze solid.
Because you just didn't know what you would be getting. And I think that it was a smart move. I question the logic behind making the switch to Russ, to be honest, because I did not see the Steelers having the offensive weapons, the skill position weapons, to be a true threat because they was never able to pull the trigger on a wide receiver.
Facts.
And, it was obvious as the year went on, it was going to be a problem. And it was. And the offensive line had the injuries, and you can't lose two projected starters in Daniels and Fautanu and then not impact the offensive line.
That's facts.
Especially that young an offensive line. So, but Stafford went into, we got to remember when he was traded from Detroit to LA went all in. And even in season, they made trades. They had Rams. They brought him in. They brought in Odell Beckham Jr. They had Aaron Donald already, and they went all in to try to win while Aaron Donald was still in his prime.
Shannon freezing up.
And
Shannon, you're freezing up, bro. You're freezing up. Can you hear me?
Steelers fans would like to do that. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're just freezing up a little bit.
Oh, I think that Steelers fans would like to do that because of TJ and Cam Hayward. But I just don't know if they're willing to do. The Rams really mortgaged everything into that season.
So we got, first of all, let me say this about AFL 67. AFL, you're correct. Give Justin $20 million a year for 2 years and spend the rest on the cap. But I don't know if we're going to be able to get Justin for that dollar amount. Because what I'm hearing is that the interest is out there by multiple teams concerning Justin. I think $20 million is a starting price. To be honest, I'm just going to be blunt about it. $20 million is where we're going to have to start. We're going to have to come in, I'm saying 2 years, maybe even $50 million to get him. Because the Jets are interested, the Raiders are interested, the Giants are interested. There's teams that want Justin, man. So that's going to drive the price a little bit up. So that's number one. So let me get to this super chat with Claude Bishop, man. Claude said, Stafford isn't a cold weather quarterback. I agree, that's facts. And he's slower than Claude. You lucky I can't get to the Matrix. He's slower than you, Big G, and I'd rather re-sign Justin or Mason for a lot cheaper. I don't know if Mason is a plan B either, because I've heard people say, let's go get Mason. Mason's not coming back to the Pittsburgh Steelers, ladies and gentlemen, and neither is Kenny Pickett. They're not going to kick the tires with that. So that's not even on the table. Well, go ahead, Shannon.
Well, two things. Stafford really played a solid game against the Eagles in some really bad weather in the playoffs. He really he came closer to beating them than the Chiefs did. And so I think we got to remember that is that, yeah, it's not ideal for him, but he definitely can do it.
Yeah. Well,
and as far as Mason Rudolph, I mean, I always said he's a quality backup.
Yeah.
If he accepts that. But no, he's not the answer to bring back, even if he is cheaper.
Right. The Steelers aren't even going to kick the tires on him.
No.
That's been clearly said, that they're not even going to kick the tires on a guy like that. And what you guys got to understand and realize too is that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to match. Let me say this. One of the biggest problems with last year's season was that Russell Wilson's skill set and Justin Wilson's skill set didn't match. So they literally had to flip the offense over from Justin playing versus Rusty playing. And on top of that, you could tell, at least from my film review, that there was a lot of conservative play calling on the field concerning Justin and Rusty. So I think that they learned from that, and they're not going to go into this season with two quarterbacks having two completely different skill sets. Because, Shannon, we don't even just need one quarterback. We need two, bro. We really need two. Because I'm not trusting Skylar Thompson, bro. I'm not doing it.
No.
Right.
We really need three.
Yeah.
I'd rather have that emergency third quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if he did have to play, that he could give him a chance to win. I don't know if Skylar Thompson's that guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not. I wouldn't mind if Skylar Thompson was the third guy, but you got to have a guy. So once you make the decision on if you're going to Stafford or Justin, okay, now what skill set matches that?
Yeah.
Right? And Shannon, based on this information as well, I'm believing that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to draft a quarterback. And they're going to get a quarterback whose skill set is similar to the guy who they draft. I'm a firm believer in that, bro. Now, what round, what guy, I don't know. But I think they're going to go after a quarterback, man. What's your thoughts on that, bro?
We've talked before. There's a couple of guys that, you know, that are not first, second round guys, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. They're third or fourth round guys. Mm-hmm. And like if you do get Stafford, you know, there's a couple of these guys that would be a good match. If you get Justin, it's a little bit harder because I'm not a big fan of Milton.
Yeah.
I know there people talk about Jackson Dart. They talk about what's the Ohio State quarterback, Howard?
Will Howard, yep.
You know, he's got some athleticism and some mobility. So, you know, you'd have to go that route. But you're probably looking at a third rounder right there. Correct.
But they're gonna have to do this. And I'm telling you guys, after this weekend's evaluation, they're gonna move quickly. I believe this, Shannon, based on what I know and what I'm hearing, that if Justin is the guy, they'll sign him before free agency starts. If Justin's the guy, they'll have it done. I really truly believe that. But if Justin is not the guy, he won't sign. He won't sign. And the Steelers are going to scramble. So that's why I'm like, man, this is different. You guys, let's face it. I've been a Steelers fan since the 70s. Shannon, you've been a Steelers fan since the 70s. Bro, we've never been without a quarterback. Even when we had busted Bubby Brister. Even when we had Neil O'Donnell, to me, that wasn't that great. We always had, even Duck Hodges, we had options at quarterback. This is the first time in my lifetime that we've been uncertain at the quarterback position, man. I mean, we had Tommy Maddox. Yeah, right. We had Tommy Maddox. This is the first time I've ever seen it. So I understand the panic that's going across Steeler Nation. But Shannon, I'm just going to be honest. Omar Khan ain't failed us yet, man. He ain't failed us, in my opinion. Has he failed you, Shannon?
No, Khan is not the problem.
Yeah.
See, I was going to get to that, which we will later. But what I was saying earlier is my faith in the Steelers has always come from my faith in Dan Rooney. But now that Dan's gone, it's not the same. And I don't have the same faith in Art 2 that I did in Dan. And so when you see these scores that come out from the players, a lot of that is reflective of Art 2.
Correct. And listen, this is a perfect transition. The score came out, like you said, right? The Pittsburgh Steelers was number 28 out of 32 NFL teams with scoring as far as the organization is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
And it was on multiple different levels, everywhere from locker room efficiency to weight room training to meals to court to coaching presence to overall spending of the organization, stadium, the way the stadium's built, the way the practice facility is built. And this grade was given by 1,629 of the NFL players. Shannon, this is like how many years in a row we've been in the bottom 25? How many years? At least I know we've been doing the show 2 going on 3, and it's been a consistent thing that we're down there. So is this really Art the Second, or what is actually going on concerning why we're grading so low as far as the Pittsburgh Steelers, bro?
Well, it's the old-fashioned, as we've talked about before. It's the old-fashioned conservative views. Sharing a facility with a college team. I mean, you know, the locker rooms haven't changed in what, 20 years, maybe
Facts.
longer.
Facts.
The strength and conditioning coaches, which is so important, it scores low. Tomlin scores high, but ownership scores low.
Facts.
Even Tomlin he scores great on everything other than being receptive to new ideas. Which again, that goes back to the conservative mindset. So nothing really come out of that shocked me, but it just confirms what we've already been talking about.
Yeah. Tate Boy Fresh said it's because they don't spend bread. And Tate's absolutely correct.
The Tate.
Oh, yeah. And I don't get it. I mean, I understand that they're a small market, but when you look at the gap between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Green Bay Packers, which is a traditionally small market program, there's no way that the Pittsburgh should be ranked down there. So I understand that they don't spend, but this has got to change.
And the Pack is community owned.
Yeah, facts. Which means that the investment doesn't come from Green Bay, Wisconsin, and all the stockholders, which there's, by the way, shout out to the Procter & Gamble that's over in Green Bay, Wisconsin, because that's where 80% of the employees come from over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've wrapped their arms around that around that franchise, that community has.
Yeah.
And in Pittsburgh, it's like, okay, because Shannon, I've been having the hardest time trying to identify, is this really Art the Second? Because, you know, I've been like, okay, he's a Rooney, so it's in his pedigree. But the more this stuff goes on, more and more about the uncertainties that's happening in Pittsburgh. The blame, of course, is Mike Tomlin with some stuff. Yes, the coaching staff. Yes, the play on the field. But Rooney's starting to become an issue, bro. And I don't get it. I don't get it. Maybe you got some insight on it, but I sure in the heck don't get it.
Well, I think that when the fans in Pittsburgh see what's happened with the Pirates forever, and now they're putting up billboards talking about the Steelers. That does not bode well for their faith in the Rooneys and in Art too. They're seeing, like we all did, that they're running it back with not only the same coaches, but the smallest coaching staff in the NFL.
Yeah.
So it's an issue. You've got a huge fan base, worldwide fan base.
Facts.
With the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Facts.
I mean, they have merchandise sales. They sell out. They say that, oh, look how the Steeler fans travel. It ain't that they travel; they live there.
Facts.
You go to any city, there's tons of Steeler fans. So, it's different than the Pirates, but the Rooneys have just gotten frugal, and they've gotten extra conservative, and they like the fact that they're known as the team with 3 quarterbacks over 50 years. But, I mean, 3 head coaches over 50 years. But sometimes, you know, Dan had to make some tough decisions.
Yeah, facts.
And I think Art's going to have to too.
Yeah. I mean, but see, that's the thing, Shannon. Well, let me answer this super chat so we can get Claude. You're right. He said 4 good quarterbacks since the 1970s: Bradshaw, Ben, Neil O'Donnell, and maybe Cordell. I don't disagree. I don't think we've had anybody else in between there, but he said the rest of them has been big trash. I agree, but the truth of the matter, Claude, how many teams have never had a franchise quarterback? The Bears have never had a franchise quarterback. I mean, I can start and end with them. Jim McMahon, are you kidding me? They've been big trash. There's multiple teams that's never really had a guy. So the issue is we've been fortunate by having franchise quarterbacks. And in a lot of ways, there's where the optimism and the pessimism goes. See, Shannon, I'm a firm believer that a lot of Steelers fans are somewhat spoiled because we're so used to having success, having the quarterback, having the coach, having the playmakers, having the defense, that we don't realize that half the NFL teams out there go through the stuff that we're going through right now. That's just what I'm thinking, bro. That's what I'm thinking, Shannon.
Well, I disagree that the Steeler fan base is spoiled. I believe that when we see the decisions that have been made just in the last few years, that we should all be satisfied and thankful that the Steelers are, never in the basement. They're always, at 500 or a little above. You don't try to sell me the standard is the standard and then drop the standard.
Right.
Because that's what's happened. So a lot of us have been fans long enough to realize that that's what's happened. And that's not being a spoiled fan base. There's one team that wins every year.
Facts.
But you got to be striving to be that team.
Facts.
Because anything else you do is a waste of time.
Mm-hmm. But Shannon, I guess I need to preface the spoiled aspect of it. What I'm saying is that when you're so used to your team winning and your team being there in playoffs, right? There's a lot of fan bases that, listen, in our own division, the Cleveland Browns is trash. They've had maybe one franchise quarterback, Bernie Kosar, maybe, right? And they're in our own division. The Bengals have maybe had 3, Kenny Anderson, Carson Palmer, and who was only there for a hot second, and now Joe Burrow. And they don't win a lot. They don't get in the playoffs. They don't do. Now, the Ravens, that's another story, right? The Ravens win, right? But within even the confines of our own division, Steelers fans don't realize sometimes how good we have it. Now, I'm not saying it's good right now or the best right now, but how good we actually have it, comparative to, man, I'm telling you, I can make a laundry list about how good we actually have it compared to other teams, Shannon. That's all I'm saying. And maybe that's where I'm getting the spoiled preference from, because we got it good compared to a lot of other teams. Listen,
I believe that right now, the Steelers are farther away from being a championship team than 10 years ago.
Facts.
I mean, 10 years ago, they needed Colbert to pull the trigger on 1 or 2 defensive guys to get the defense up to the level of the offense with the killer bees. But those teams had Super Bowl aspirations. And it wasn't just, false hope or daydreaming. They were really that good.
Facts.
Their offense could match up with anybody.
Facts.
Well, right now, the offense is pitiful.
Yeah.
It's not NFL caliber. The defense is the most overpaid defense in the NFL.
Facts.
They're nowhere near number 1.
Yeah.
They're nowhere near top 10.
Right.
And you see that when they play a good team. And you have guys, as I've said before, I love TJ and Hayward and them guys, but they get in the playoffs and they disappear.
Facts.
As I said before, TJ Watt is at 2 games in the playoffs and he didn't register a statistic.
Facts.
I mean, read Troy Polamalu. Just read the book. The man would have did something crazy. He was a freelancer. He would have rushed from the other side. He would have, he didn't even, he relied on Ryan Clark to cover his behind because he was playing out of position. But guess what? He made plays.
Right.
There's no way you can be as great as TJ and go a whole playoff game and not register a statistic. Now, some of that's on Austin.
Correct.
And a terrible scheme. But what I'm saying is, how many years is this going to continue to happen? And everybody's like, we got to win it. Well, we got to win it for TJ. Win it in his prime. Well, he's past his prime.
Correct. Hey, listen, Tate Boy Fresh, thank you for the super chat, bro. We appreciate it. He said, expectations don't meet realization. We lose some we shouldn't, but win more than we should. Agreed and facts. They had late prime Big Ben 10 years ago. They did, right? And like I said, I can't wait till my piece is trying to get finalized concerning what happened for the Pittsburgh Steelers from 2017 to 2022. The roster was decimated, you guys. I don't know if y'all realize that or not, but the roster was killed from 2017 to 2022. We didn't fill critical positions, and we held on to guys too long, and we had sucked drafts, including Kevin Colbert's last pick of Kenny Pickett on his way out the door, 2021, 2022.
During that time, they had one All-Pro they drafted, and that was TJ Watt.
That is facts.
One.
That is facts.
One. I mean, you talk about Cleveland. They had multiple.
Mm-hmm.
They had Joe Thomas. They had, everybody had somebody.
Correct.
The Steelers had one. The people don't realize how bad that Colbert's drafting ability, his creativity, his unwillingness to move future capital, to try to move around and get the guys they really wanted. It was terrible.
Facts.
And I have great respect for the man for the first half of his career, but the end was terrible.
That's correct. And it decimated us. So you know how sometimes you have the what happens and then you get the ripple effect?
Yep.
We're getting the ripple effect right now. The ripple effect of what happened between 2017 and 2022 is what's going on right now. Now, the fortunate thing is this, and Shannon, I'm going to say this and we're going to go to commercial break. I believe that we can turn it around faster than what people think. We're going to have to spend money. We're going to have to make hard decisions, and we're going to have to identify our quarterback. I think once you do those things, then you move past this. And I think that's why I'm a little bit more optimistic than I am pessimistic, because I think that either we're going to identify Stafford as a bridge, we're going to sign Justin, and he's either going to be the guy or a bridge, or we're going to get our quarterback in the next season or two. I just believe that. So maybe that's why I'm a little bit more optimistic than pessimistic. That's just my thoughts, bro.
Well, the problem with a bridge is you got to see the other side.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just build a bridge to nowhere. There has to be a destination.
Mm-hmm.
Matthew Stafford, 2 to 3 years max. You have a coaching staff that has not proven they can identify quarterback talent out of the draft or that they can develop said talent.
Mm-hmm.
I fear, that's why I've said all along, if you take a chance on Justin,
mm-hmm.
you're taking a chance on a supremely athletically gifted young man who is of an age that he can be your quarterback if he panned out for the next 10 years.
Facts.
If he doesn't, and he's as bad as a lot of our community believe, the Steelers will suffer, the record will reflect it, and they'll be more in line to get one of these top quarterbacks without having to mortgage their whole future all to try to get the one position.
Facts.
It would be different if they had, like when they dropped Ben in the middle of that roster,
mm-hmm.
they had a championship roster. They needed the quarterback. Right now, they have neither.
Mm-hmm.
So my only problem, if we're going to talk bridge, I don't want a 2-year bridge. I want a guy that has potential to be more. If he doesn't pan out, I don't care if they go, what would it be, 4-13?
Yeah.
If that gives them a chance to get their next Ben.
Facts.
Because I want to go in the right direction.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, I'm old enough to remember the seasons where they won 4 or 5 games.
Facts.
But guess what? There was always a great story during those years.
Mm-hmm.
There was a Rod Woodson developing, Greg Lloyd coming out of nowhere and developing.
Mm-hmm.
Your Carnell Lake moving from linebacker to safety and then cornerback. Your Chris Hopes. I mean, there was so many guys that developed during some bad seasons that became part of teams that made it deep into the playoffs.
Yeah. I
would rather see that than just bringing in all these guys that are veterans and trying to make one more run at something you're not really progressing because you're not developing young talent.
Yeah, I agree. So we'll read Claude Bishop's Super Chat 5, and we're going to take a quick pause for the calls and pay some bills. Claude Bishop for the 5. Watching those last 5 games of the season shows me that we're the third best team in the division, and changes should have been made. Claude, we're not the third best team in the division. We're not. We're the second best team in the division, realistically. Cincinnati had our number. We had a lot of injuries, and Russie was cooked. Let's just face it. And our wide receivers were done, including Pickens, who we're going to talk about on the backside of the break, because there's trade rumors for him too. So let's pause for the calls. Let's take a break. Pay some bills over here on Steel Curtain Network, Fans First Sports Network. If you're watching us live on YouTube, just give us a second. If you're listening to us on audio, wherever you get your audio podcast, Google, Spotify, or Apple, we'll be right back with PYB on Wednesday night on Steel Curtain Network. We're back at it, Shannon. Live with the chat. We got about 114 people in here live. If you haven't hit like, if you haven't dumped on the algorithms, if you haven't done that yet, you need to go ahead and do it, because midweek on a Wednesday night, where else are you going to get this Steelers conversation anywhere else outside of PYB? Well, my boy Shannon, the Triple OG, and my boy Tate Boy Fresh, who's trying to heal up right now, but he'll be back in the building with us next Wednesday. Shannon, Pickens. Now, I'm just going to say it like it is. Omar Khan said his exit interview was decent. Omar Khan said that we wouldn't mind holding on to it. We would like to, but he also hedged his bets, right? Mm-hmm. If you had to pick a probability right now for Pickens to be with the Steelers come when the season kicks off, 1 being he's out of here, 10 being he's going to be here. Which way you leaning, Shannon?
I'd say 50-50. I think that they realize how much change, how much improvement they need in that room. And I think they're hoping to get a veteran and to draft a first or second round receiver. Mm-hmm. And they're at this point thinking we're better off to go into the season with Pickens. Mm-hmm. And then if he starts putting up some numbers, and he might improve his value for a mid-season trade. Mm-hmm. I could see that, because they've really got to revamp that room.
Yeah. Shannon, so there's a clip Service Center out there right now where GP said he would love to play with Aaron Rodgers, and people trying to string that together. But that clip is not from over the last few weeks, right?
No, that was last year. Yeah.
It was last year when he said, I'd like to be with Aaron Rodgers and all whatever else. But I get the premise, because George Pickens is in a contract year. In my opinion, of course, he's going to say all the right things. In my opinion, he's lightweight going to be on his best behavior, because he needs as many targets as possible. Because without it, the Steelers might not be willing to pay, or there might not be another team out there willing to pay the bread for Pickens.
Oh, right? You can't as Con or you can't badmouth him, because you're trying to drive his value up.
Correct.
So it doesn't shock me that they're saying the right things. But the problem is Pickens had the opportunity, if he had just kept his cool last year,
facts,
to this offseason getting signed for $25 million. And he couldn't do it. And he's one of these guys that say, I'm always open. Meaning that if guys running right in his hip pocket, he knows he's so talented, he wants you to throw it up and let him try to go get it. But those guys, to me, are lazy route runners.
Facts.
Because they don't have to sell it they don't have to put in the effort, work on their footwork, do all these things to gain separation because they know just throw it up, I'll go get it. But it makes me question his work ethic. And to be great, you have to have it.
Shannon, so I'm going to let you guys in the live chat and you guys in on a little secret, right? I'm on game 4 of the last 5 games before the playoffs last year for the Pittsburgh Steelers and watching it in all 22. I'm on game 4, okay? Y'all, George Pickens ain't him. I saw more plays where he took the play off. I'm talking about 20 to 30% of taking the play off during live play in the game. Yeah. I'm talking about he did absolutely nothing. Yeah. There was plays where they were snapping the ball and Russie was looking towards the other side of the field and he literally stopped and stood there.
Didn't move at all. Yeah.
He ran like 4 yards and stopped.
Yeah.
There was plays where he literally just jogged. And when he saw that Russ looked the other way, he ran towards the sideline. And as he was going out of bounds, took his helmet off. I saw it with my own eyes.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, there's no way. This guy is Antonio Brown without the money and without the actual feet and without the catches and without the talent. He's
without the work ethic.
Yeah,
let us remember, AB was renowned for being the hardest worker.
Yeah,
on the team.
Yeah,
I mean that dude put the work in to prove everybody wrong, being a 6th-round draft pick.
Yeah,
and having one of the greatest stretches any wide receivers ever had.
Correct.
I mean, we can say that he lost it, but you can't never take away his work ethic.
Right. What I've also saw, Shannon, is how he hot dogs it. Like he'll make a catch, and this guy's running with the ball in the wrong hand.
Yeah.
Right? Or this guy's running it with it away from his body. You don't see the super great wide receivers in the NFL doing that stuff. Yeah. Justin Jefferson knows how to catch the ball, get it, and get up out of there. Jamar Chase knows how to catch it and get up out of there, bro. He ain't got time for all them hot dogs and flashing. But on a lot of the catches that he made, and I also saw where he clearly was dropping balls that he should have caught. Oh my God. I thought I was watching Deontay Johnson. I said, what is this mess? Yeah. And this guy's supposed to be our number 1. Shannon, he's got to go, dog. Shannon, he's got to go, bro. He's got to go, man.
But they want to get the best value possible. That's the only thing that I think they're in a tough spot right now. Mm-hmm. The truth is, AB wouldn't come back, and they had a chance to get a much better pick for AB, and he was like, "I ain't going to Buffalo." Mm-hmm. Remember?
Yeah, facts.
He wouldn't go. Facts. It would have helped the Steelers. He would have played with Josh Allen. Yeah. He would have probably been in the Super Bowl. But no, he didn't want to go there. Yeah. So the Steelers are trying to avoid that, I think, with Pickens.
Yeah. Listen, so Shannon, I'll be in the streets, dog. Shannon, you already know, man. I stay in the street, right? Yeah. And so I hear stuff, right? And I heard something that I believe is true. There's a lot of teams over in Indianapolis that is inquiring about George Pickens. And let me just say this. It ain't necessarily tampering, y'all. The reason why, if you've never been to Indianapolis, Indiana in your whole life, and trust me, I've been there a whole lot of times, there's absolutely nothing to do over there except for the bars, right? Or the sports bars, the places to eat and all whatever else. There's nothing to do. So what these owners and what these GMs and what these coaches do is they sit around and talk, right? And so what I'm hearing from feet on the ground over there is that there's been some inquiry about Pickens. And I'm hearing realistically the Green Bay Packers want him. Like Green Bay wants him because they think that's their answer for their WR1. And I'm even hearing that the Packers is willing to give up a number 1, right? So listen, if that's the case, if they give us a 1 or even a 2nd or a 3rd, adios muchachos, my friend. You got to go.
Green Bay has got 4 receivers that I would rather have than Pickens. Mm-hmm. And all these guys, I would take any of them and a pick and send them Pickens in a heartbeat.
Yeah. They don't just give me your number 1. Give me your number, or give me your second, or give me your third.
Give me Reed, give me Watson, give me I swear I can't think of the other guy's name. And then they got the slot guy. I like all them guys in Green Bay.
Yeah. But listen, even if they didn't give us a player, Shannon, and they gave us their number one, right? He's gone. Even if they gave us a second and a third, or a second and a fourth, he's gone, right? Because you, just as bad as we got to solidify that quarterback one option, we got to solidify that wide receiver one option. And the more picks you have, the more chances you have to get that guy, let alone what we might do as far as free agency is concerned, because we got the bread, right? So I think they're going to flip the wide receiver room. Shannon, you said 50-50. I'm going to say 70-30. I think he's gone, bro. I think he's gone.
Dobbs is who I was trying to think about.
Oh yeah. Heck, I'll take Dobbs.
That's what I'm saying.
In a minute, I'd take Dobbs. So,
and they're talking about trading their top cornerback,
Alexander.
Yep. They also have Willis, the quarterback who filled in really well when Jordan Love was down last year.
Yep.
He's a young guy with talent that if you had Fields, he could be a backup that would make sense.
Right.
There is teams that the Steelers need to look at that have some depth.
Yeah.
And Green Bay's one of them.
Yeah. Now listen, I don't have proof of this. I'm just saying what I like. I would trade Alexander head up for a pick swap. I'd send Pickens to Green Bay. You give me Alexander. I give you my 21st. We take your 26, and we're done with it. If I was the Steelers, I'd do it today.
Yeah, but you think Green Bay would do that?
Yeah, Alexander's out of there anyway. They've already put him on the market. He's up out of there. So if they get a guy like Pickens that they already want, I'd do it. I'm gonna ask the live chat. I'm gonna have to live chat. Would you guys trade George Pickens and the 21st pick to the Green Bay Packers for Alexander, their defensive back, and their 26th pick? Yes or no? Would you do it? I know I would do it, Shannon. You saying you would do it, but I want to hear from the live chat. Because I believe that's a win, bro. Now we got two starting corners, and it is what it is. And we're going to get a wide receiver. That's what I would do. So I'm asking the question to the chat, would you do it? Right? So I'm seeing no, yes, deal. Kathy said no. Mr. Woodside said deal. Afton said, how old is Alexander? He's under 28, Afton.
Yeah.
Craig Withrow said yes. Alexander said 2 years, $37 million on the contract. Yes. However, but we would only be responsible for paying one of those years. We would only be responsible for paying one. So he said, I wouldn't. Jack Bauer said, I wouldn't. One problem for another. Jaime said yes. A lot of folks are saying yes. There's more yeses than there is no. Yeah. So Mark Cunningham said, hell yeah. I mean, I'm with it. I'm with it. All right, so Shannon, that transitions us to the combine.
Yeah.
Okay, it's combine week. This is like almost high holy week. This is like the rev up to the draft, right? This is the start of what I sometimes call silly season, because you're going to hear some of the most silliest things you've ever heard concerning the Pittsburgh Steelers, the draft, the player evaluation, and all whatever else. But Shannon, before I start asking questions, I got to just ask you, what's the number one thing you're looking forward to starting with silly season in less than 24 hours?
I'm looking forward to two positions.
Mm-hmm.
Defensive tackle.
Oh.
The average year, might be 8 guys.
Yeah.
That could be considered a starter as a rookie. Mm-hmm. This year, they're estimating maybe 16, twice as many.
Yeah.
Great year to need a defensive tackle.
Yeah.
Also, I keep hearing that it's a down year for wide receiver.
Facts.
Compared to last year, which was incredibly deep. Mm-hmm. And the Steelers only got Roman Wilson. Now, we didn't get to see him at all. Mm-hmm. So he's going to be in that equation next year.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that why it is deep I think there is still quality guys to be had.
Yeah.
In those first 4 rounds. So there's a couple of guys I'm really interested there. That's my 2 main going into the combine.
Yeah. Shannon, I'm going to say this, and, even before we start talking about it, we literally have 4 players that didn't play last year that were all draft picks that's going to play this year.
Yeah.
Right? So it's almost like we're getting 4 extra guys. Logan Lee, the defensive end from Iowa, Troy Fautano, the offensive tackle from Washington, Roman Wilson, the wide receiver from the University of Michigan, and who am I missing?
Well, we don't know.
Watts. Ryan Watts, the safety from Texas.
But we don't know how his neck will be if he hasn't been cleared yet.
Right. That's facts. But we have a possibility of getting those 4 extra players to go along with this rookie class. So half of our draft didn't even play last year.
That's true.
So we're going to get half of those guys to go with what we have with this year's draft. So that's one of the things I'm looking forward to. But Shannon, you're absolutely right. Defensive tackle. If you need a defensive lineman or an edge rusher this year, you better go get it. Matter of fact, I think the Steelers should double dip. I've already said that on multiple shows when I started talking about my draft depth and pre-draft picks and all whatever else. Yeah, I got 2 guys, bro. Two defensive tackles. So, but Shannon, I'm gonna name a list. I'm gonna give you a list of guys. And some of these guys the Steelers have already been linked to based on reporting and what's happened in Indianapolis. Because the Steelers, we got the report today that the Steelers have already interviewed multiple guys.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to give you a list of possible first-round NFL draft picks. I'm going to give you 5 names. If they all are sitting there at 21, and I know this is tough, but who are you going to pick? These are your 5 names. Walter Nolan, Emeka Egbuka, Derek Harmon, defensive tackle out of Oregon, Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle out of Michigan, or Ashton Jeanty, running back, Boise State. Who you going to pick?
Okay. Right now, I'll take Gentry off the list.
Gentry's gone. Okay, we're down to 4.
Yeah.
We're down to 4. Okay.
I have to see what he looks like at the combine and everything, but I don't want a first-round running back.
Okay.
I like all 3 defensive tackles.
Okay.
Egbuka, you know how I feel about him.
Okay.
I think he's one of the best wide receivers in Ohio State history, and that's saying something.
That's facts.
I think he's definitely a first-round pick. As much as I love the 3 guys on the defensive line, depending on what happens in free agency, you might have to take Egbuka.
Oh, Shannon.
The reason why is because they got to get their number 1.
Yeah.
They got to get their number 1 guy at wide receiver. And like I said, it's such a deep draft on the defensive line, and it's not that deep at wide receiver. So based on just value, and both are huge needs, I think I might have to go with Egbuka.
Shannon, so this is what's happened already as of now, and which this could change by tomorrow. Okay. The Pittsburgh Steelers interviewed Kenneth Grant.
Yes.
The Pittsburgh Steelers interviewed Derek Harmon. I know that this is not stuff I'm making up. I know this for a fact. They interviewed both of those guys. I didn't hear them interview Emeka Egbuka. I'm not saying that they won't, but they haven't.
Yeah.
So does that speak volumes to maybe where the Steelers are going, Shannon?
I think I think they're thinking the same way I am. I think that they want to talk to these defensive linemen and say which one's the better fit for what. To me, it's Grant. I want the big boy, the big body that can not only, plug up the middle, get penetration, collapse the pocket. He's got great athleticism. But I think that they know what Egbuka is. And I think they're like, they don't need to talk to him yet. They will.
Yeah.
They will. But I think they already know that he's on that radar.
Yeah.
Already. Now they're trying to separate those top 3 defensive linemen.
Facts. Claude Bishop, thanks for the $2, man. He said Ibuka wide receiver needs offense that back-to-back DTs. Tate took back-to-back DTs in round 1, 1, and 2. I took DTs in round 3 and round 4. But you're going to be able to get quality all the way down to round 3 and round 4. But Shannon, I wish I had the Matrix tonight, bro. Because Big Pun, you back on that sauce again, dog. Big Pun, I got feet on the ground down at Ohio State, bro. Emeka Buka's going to run a sub 4.4. He's going to run between a 4.36 and a 4.38. I promise you, if he runs, he's going to run between a 4.36 and a 4.38. He's that fast.
But we have to remember that if you look at the all-time greats, the average is 4.45 to 4.55. They almost all fit into that range.
Correct.
It's more than just straight line speed.
Correct.
And the man, if you watch him on film or watch him play, there's no doubt that he gets separation. His footwork's crisp. It's clean, great balance, great acceleration. Acceleration is more important than your top end speed.
Right. And he's not.
But I agree with you. I think he'll be 4-4 round
punishment. You vet your source, punishment. Vet your source. If you know it, vet your source. Because I'm telling you, I got sources, multiple. And I'm telling you right now, he's not that slow, dog. He's not. He's not that slow. You'll see. You'll see. And I just want you to come back and say, you were right.
Now, I don't like this either.
He's not.
If you watch Luther, he takes plays off.
Yes.
And he's the head case. And the Steelers need to avoid that. They don't need no more head cases at wide receiver.
Well, Shannon, what we don't need is another 5'10" wide receiver that weighs 180 pounds.
Yeah, he's small too. Yeah,
because Luther Burden's going to come in around 186 pounds. Yeah. They say he weighs 190. He's going to come in at around 186 pounds. I'd be shocked if he measures higher than 5'10". I'd be shocked. I think he's going to come in with somewhere between 5'9" and some change and 5'10". If he's 5'11", I'm shocked, right? So we don't need another one of those. We already got 2 of them.
Yeah.
We already got Roman Wilson. We already got Calvin Austin III. We don't need a little small dude. We don't need another one of those guys, bro. We don't. We need a wide receiver between 6'1" and 6'3" that weighs anywhere between 210 and 220 pounds that has burst and runs crisp routes.
Yep.
That's what we need in Pittsburgh. So, and I agree 100% with Mark on this one. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Alpha dog.
Yep.
Alpha dog. And I'm not saying that just because he's a Buckeye. This is what they're already saying in Indianapolis, Indiana. They're already saying that Emeka Ibuka could jump to the number 1 wide receiver based on what happens over the next couple of days because his character is so high. Them interviews has already started happening. I'm hearing, like, for real. That's part of the reason why the Pittsburgh Steelers interviewed Kenneth Grant, because I heard that Kenneth Grant's character is so high. And Shannon, you said you want a big boy in the middle. Kenneth Grant is 6'3" and some change, 336 pounds, and he's going to run a sub 4.8.
Yeah, he said he's shooting for 4.8. He played at 345 last year.
Yeah.
But he lost down to 332, I think. But hey, I mean, I seen him run the running back down in the Ohio State game. That dude's plenty fast.
Shannon, I have watched almost 4 hours of tape on Kenneth Grant. Man, listen, if Mason Graham, who's going to be a top 5 or 6 pick in this draft, wasn't playing right beside him, he might be the number 1 defensive tackle off the board.
Yeah.
I mean, that boy's that talented, man. You have to double team him every single freaking time. Every time you got to double team him. And when you put the tape on of Harmon, Shannon, he's bigger than freaking Kenneth Grant. Harmon played at about 340, bro. And he just looks different. His body type is like a bigger version of Casey Hampton. Because I was trying to get a comp on him because he's super athletic and he's big. And I'm like, who's the comp? Man, I had to go back and dial it back, Shannon. And I kept coming back with Casey Hampton. And when you put the tape on, that's how he looks. So I mean,
Yeah, but-
I know this is going to be a hard deal, bro, with that first round pick.
Oh, it is, but there's some really great options at areas of need, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah. Shannon, last subject. If you had to pick a sleeper, somebody that you want the Steelers brass to actually pay attention to over the combine over the next couple of days, who's one or two guys you would say that you want them to really watch?
I like I keep wanting to call him Beck, but it's Besh.
Yeah.
That at TCU. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's a tragic story about his brother, but if you just leave the story to the side, which has brought him up on a lot of people's radar.
Mm-hmm.
The young man gets open, he catches the ball, he's tough, he's fearless. Again, a high character guy that you don't have to, you get, him third round. Oh my gosh. I mean, there's it's not the depth this year, but there is some quality options there. And even on the offensive line, you got Milam out of West Virginia.
He's a dog.
You know me.
He's a dog, Shannon. He's a dog.
Last year I was like, Frazier. Well, Milam is the same mentality. As you said, he's a dog. He's going to battle. And you could bring in a guy, stick him in right tackle, and not worry about it for the next 10 years.
Man, listen. I've been watching tape because we got a transfer coming from West Virginia, Donaldson, running back that's going to Ohio State.
Yep.
So I started watching tape on this Donaldson dude, and I'm like, who is that playing right tackle? He out there killing people. And I was like, oh yeah, that's a dog. So I started watching tape on him. Yeah, he's the truth. Shannon, I'm gonna tell you two names. And initially, one of these guys was supposed to go to us anyway. And I'm telling you, after his workouts, I think he's a Steeler. I know the Steelers want Omarion Hampton. I know the Steelers like Travion Henderson. I know the Steelers fans like Quinshon Junkins. I know that. I know they like Ollie Gordon. These are names that I'm hearing in the Pistons. Rock Sanders, right? But I'm going to tell y'all something, man. Caleb Johnson is him, y'all. It's settled in my soul. I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to draft Caleb Johnson. I think in the second round, the running back out of Iowa, he's a perfect Pittsburgh Steeler. He's faster than what most people think.
Do you think he's a little Le'Veon Bell with a better burst?
Yes. And I think he's got better vision. Yes, and he's got better feet than Le'Veon too. Listen, I remember.
But he has the vision that Harris never had. Yeah.
Shannon, he's got better feet. And he's got burst too, bro. I'm telling you, the Steelers was all on him, man. And like it just went cold. And I'm like, man, I got to go back and see. So I did my evaluation. And Caleb Johnson, bro, he's him. I mean, I'm telling you straight up, he's him.
And he's outside zone all day.
All day and night.
All day, yeah.
Right? So, man, don't be shocked, Pittsburgh, if we take Caleb Johnson in the second round. If he's there, don't be shocked. Another dude, Darius Alexander, defensive tackle, University of Toledo. If you want to mess around and wait to the third and get a DT, well, let me just say this. Alexander has the ability to raise the roof off of the combine over in Indianapolis, Indiana. Shannon, I'm hearing this boy's going to run a 4.5 at 320 pounds.
Oh, goodness.
I'm hearing he's going to run a 4.53, 4.54 at 320 pounds.
Boy, does his tape match that speed?
His tape is unbelievable, Shannon. You know how, like, last year during the draft, Quinyon Mitchell started gaining and gaining. That's what's going to happen with Alexander, man. Shannon, if he's 320 and he runs a freaking 4.53 or 4.54, bro, Shannon, we can't wait.
No.
we can't wait, bro. We can't wait. We got to go. We got to take him, man.
A sleeper, which we got one here on the screen, but the young man for Virginia Tech,
running backs,
yes, is going is Butane
It starts with a T. It's Tui. He's a running back.
I can't remember his name right now.
Yeah.
But he's got that burst that he could give kind of a poor man's Gibbs for Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives Steelers that guy as a home run threat.
Mm-hmm.
And it's part of the committee.
Yeah, Jay's Upper T says Savion Williams, TCU wide receiver. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Claude, you lucky I ain't got the Matrix because I never said this. What I said about Kenny Pickett was, I said after we drafted him, and I said year one going into year two, I thought he was him. I was totally wrong. But at drafting, I was lightweight upset that the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it's on wax. Go back and watch the Know It Alls podcast. Go back and watch Pump Your Brakes. Go back and watch the homies. I said that. I was upset that the Pittsburgh Steelers drafted Kenny Pickett in the first round of the draft in 2022. I was really upset about it. And that's the truth, bro. That's the truth. Tate Boy Fresh says Tootin. Yeah, that's his name, bro.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Tate. Absolutely, man. All right, Shannon. It's 105 mark of the podcast. What you got to leave us with as far as your final thoughts, bro?
Just excited about that combine. As I said, it's one of my favorite times of the year because when I do my player evaluations, I always wait till after the combine and see how they test on an equal field. Because even when they do the pro days, they're at a home field advantage. When they're on that combine in Indianapolis, they're on the same environment. And I want to see who competes, who checks out, doesn't, backs away, says, I'm not going to run, I'm running my pro day. I want to see the guy that has that competitive nature. And I want to see, does what we see at the combine match what's on film? So this is a very exciting time for all of us evaluation junkies.
Facts. Kenny Brokenborough, man, nobody's really off Najee and saying he's garbage. The issue is we're not going to give him $10 to $12 million to come back to the Pittsburgh Steelers. If Najee takes a cut, $6 million, $7 million, maybe. But we're not going to give him the money he's asking for, bro.
It's nothing personal with me. I mean, he's not the fit for this offense. I'm done with that.
Yeah. And you see our Claude, Claude's firing away tonight, Shannon, because he knows I don't have that Matrix graphic. He said, another great show, Shannon. Thanks. Like I'm not here.
Did you not agree with him? Did you not think I had a great show?
Shannon, you did great, but it's a two-man combination tonight, bro. What is you talking about? And listen,
he beat you too. He beat you too.
No, he don't, man. Stop trying to translate the Matrix language into a live podcast. No. Claude knows exactly what he's doing. So yeah, but Claude, we appreciate the two, man, for sure. And listen, all you guys that said you like my new background, because I saw you guys over there in the chat, and you were saying I just didn't have time to pull it up. Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I have to improve my game going into I think Tate Boy Fresh did that somewhere remote from a couch.
He did it, yes.
I think he did it somewhere remote from a couch. I think that was because that was a shot because Tate wasn't here either. Well, I think Tate signed it remote from a couch somewhere. Yeah. It was like, Claude, you're getting it, bro. don't worry about it.
Tate is the man.
Yeah, appreciate it. Hey, Tate, Kathy said thank you. Kathy said she couldn't take it. Thank you. Thank you. Claude, get well at home. Hey, so yeah, I thank you guys for like I said, I wouldn't be able to do stuff like this if it wasn't for you guys. So I'm not all the way 100% yet. I'm almost there. I'm getting close, right? Yeah. Tate Boy Fresh said, Najee, no explosiveness. I get it. But for the right price, I'm not tripping. He can come back. $6 million. No, yeah. You might have to do it, Shannon. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
I want a new backfield, baby. I want a new backfield.
Listen. If we get Travion Henderson, Quinshon Junkins, or Caleb Johnson, I'm hyped.
Oh yeah, yes.
Or Marion Hampton. Oh my God. Or Roxanne.
Outside of Pickens, they didn't have no explosiveness last year.
Yeah,
that's got to change.
Yeah, we got to have a running back. And we got to have improved offensive line, but that's another show.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. We thank you guys for rocking us with us on PYB on Wednesday night. We will definitely see us next week. me, Shannon, Tate Boy Fresh. And make sure you check out all the other podcasts across the board on the Steel Curtain Network. Shannon's on a show on Mondays with The Hangover, and I'm quite sure Shannon gets first man up after the combine come Monday. So he's first man up, so his evaluations will be fresh and crisp. We'll be back on Wednesday. Make sure you check us out on Friday over on the Homies and Homies Overtime. Make sure you follow us on the Know It Alls podcast Sundays with me, Mod, and Tate Boy Fresh. And I'm over there at Steelers Almighty with my boy Big B on Tuesdays, man. So you can go over there and check out the big show as well. As for me, my boy Shannon, my boy Tate Boy Fresh, we'll check you guys next week with another edition of PYB.